And we are live. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening, or wherever you are in the world. Hi, Simon.
Hi, Debbie. How are you?
I am great. I'm feeling good. I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I went for a run. It's my new thing. It's get up before the kids wake, go for a run, and I feel great. I do get tired at the end of the day, but I do feel great in the morning.
That sounds really good. That reminds me to go to the gym.
Yes, you should all go to the gym or go running. You should all do it. It's really cool. We're doing different time slots just to kind of reach different parts of the world. I know America's just gone to bed, but we've got New Zealand in the chat. So we're reaching the other side of the world today. So that's how far we're gone. And everyone in the middle, welcome to you all. It's great to see where everyone is signing or calling in from or watching from. India, New Zealand. I'm sure we've got like so many other countries in there. So yeah, this is really cool. Love it. Slovakia, love it. So yeah, I'm here in Mallorca, in sunny Mallorca. It's very hot, and Simon is from sunny.
Yeah, I'm in Berlin. It rained this morning. It wasn't
Rainy
supposed
Berlin.
to rain, so not that
Oh
good.
well. Oh well. So what are we here to do today? We are here to show you just a couple of things that the Playwright team have been working on. So everything we've been doing in the last couple of months that you might not have seen or caught up with, and some things that the VS Code team have been working on as well. So we're going to just throw in a load of things that are new and maybe of interest. And then we want to showcase something that we're working on just in case you think it's cool and you want to give us some feedback on it so we can improve it before we ship it. That's the idea here. So that means the chat is open. I am reading the chat throughout the whole thing. Sometimes I might get distracted, that's why. But everything that you put in the chat, I do read and we will try and answer. So if you do have any questions, do not paste in coding questions. That would be too insane for me to read through. But if you do have any questions or any ideas or anything that you like, or even just putting in, this is cool, this is great, like this, that's a bad idea, that's a good idea, whatever, do paste it in the chat because it really does help us with some feedback. And we really do need your feedback.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Simon, where should we start? What would you like to start with? What do you want to tell the world about what the team has been doing?
Okay, yeah. So the team has worked on a bunch of things, and I don't know, some of that is like related to some Markdown experiments that we have, and some of it is related to our VS Code extension, and like there's a lot going on. And I brought one thing today that the team is working on in regards to the VS Code extension and Playwright MCP and how all of that integrates. And I'd like to give a demo of that and just see what you all think. But why don't we start with some of the things you brought up? The stuff in VS Code sounds great, or the new MCP installation.
Okay, let's start with that. Cool. So in case you have never installed the Playwright MCP, this is for you because it's now super simple. So let me go and share my screen. The Playwright MCP, I think everyone should already have it like installed. But basically it gives the LLMs or your not ChatGPT, but imagine using in VS Code, you're using whatever LLM you're using, and you want it to basically navigate to a browser and click and do things, then that's what the Playwright MCP allows it to do. Because if you go to ChatGPT and say, open this website and click this button, it can't do it, right? And now in VS Code, using Copilot and using, say, Claude Sonnet or whatever, you can actually do that with the Playwright MCP. So that's what this is for. So I'm going to share my let me share the window. That'd probably be a safer thing. Okay, so let me bring that up. Scene 2. I've got a demo scene 2. Look at that. Does that do it? Look at that. That's beautiful. So this is VS Code, and I can probably just zoom in a little bit more for you. There's an extension button here, right? You all know about extensions. I don't know why I have 70 extensions. Don't ask. But what you have installed, recommend, and then you have this new thing, which is MCP servers installed. Now, this is really cool because you can see I have the GitHub one. If you haven't got the GitHub MCP server installed, you should totally install it. It's a new way of installing it now. So if you had it before using Docker, that was horrible. I hated having to install, like, just start Docker. Now you don't. It's just a URL. It's like you just add the URL. This is it, and then it just like it auto signs into for you and everything through VS Code. It's absolutely amazing. So check that out. And I've got the Playwright one in here. Now, I could just uninstall this just for, yeah, it's installed. I've uninstalled it. Right? I'm going to refresh this. It's gone, right? I do not have the Playwright MCP server anymore. Okay. So how would I go and install that? Well, look at this. And this is me trying to stay in VS Code because I think that makes it easier. So there's a little icon here now called Browse MCP Servers. And I can go ahead and click that. Now, obviously, I shared this window and now I've got to unshare and share the another screen. So let me go ahead and do that because it's popped up in, and I'm actually going to paste this into the chat for you all to actually open up as well. So you should see inside the chat. I'm sure it pastes, probably only pastes to YouTube. I think in LinkedIn, I'll have to share it later. I don't think it shares directly to LinkedIn. But let me quickly remove that and share the next window so you can see what I'm talking about. And this is really cool. Let me I hate when I have too many windows. It's like it's too many windows. Too many windows. There we go. This is it. So this is code.visualstudio.com. And I have Insider, but you could just have code.mcp. It's just because I'm using VS Code Insiders because I like to live on the edge of bleeding technology, which is sometimes not a good thing, but sometimes it's great. Stop sharing and let me go and share this other screen. I think I'll just go and share the whole computer. Like, what could go wrong, Simon?
Nothing. I'm pretty sure you don't have any sensitive stuff on your computer.
Who knows? Who knows? So this is the page that we clicked. When I click that little browser icon, this is where you come to. Now, this is not all the MCP servers in the world. This is just a selection of MCP servers that VS Code team have put together. So don't ask me why or in what order, or whatever. It's just the way it's done. So there's things like the GitHub one, the Figma one, the Playwright one, and the Microsoft Docs Markdown. It's really cool, right? There's Notion if you're using Notion. I want to check that one out. I love Notion. Zapier, you've got Neon, Apify, MongoDB, Prisma, PayPal, Stripe. Like, that's cool. What does the PayPal one do? Is that going to like pay my stuff? I want to check that out. Azure DevOps, right? I hate opening the Azure DevOps board and clicking all the stuff just when I've done a task. So that's kind of cool. I want to play with that as well. Obviously,
and I will also imagine if I have that installed, I can just paste in a link to like an Azure DevOps item, and then it would fetch the description and maybe be able to implement it, right?
Yeah, or maybe implement it for you. I like that thought. Anyway, let's go ahead and click this button, Install Playwright. So I'm just going to click Install Playwright. And obviously, I trust this site. And we're opening it up. And you can see I'm on this page. Now, it's not installed yet. It's just telling me. And I get the details. So now I get the documentation of everything in here. If I wanted to read all this, I could. That makes it kind of cool. And then I can just press Install. There we go. It's installed. That's it. 2 clicks. 2 clicks. Like, wow. That is so super easy. And now I can come along here and I can literally either here or over here, whichever way I want to do it. I can just click and start the server. So anytime I want to stop a server, start a server, I can do it just by going into the extensions and then clicking the start server. And you can see it's discovered 25 tools, which is really nice. So now I can go along here and I can open the chat and I can say, now, this is really cool. I could say, actually, I use voice. Voice is really cool. Go to debbie.codes and open the videos page. I didn't listen to me. Hang on, I'll do that again. Stop. Listen to me. Cancel. Okay. Now, one thing to note here, I'm just going to show you here is I've got a custom mode here. I'm using Playwright Tester. So you would normally have agent. I'll come back to this Playwright Tester, but let me see if I can sync my voice again. Go to debbie.codes and open the video page. Now this should pick up the MCP server. We go running navigate. We've opened up the URL and it should now click to my video page. This is the main homepage. And there's the video pages. So in case you wanted to check out my latest videos, that's where you would go. So just imagine the things you can do. I actually had it to fill out a form for me. Actually, for this live stream, I got the Playwright MCP to fill in the details to create this live stream. I thought that was pretty cool. I have a video on that as well, so do check that out. Now, obviously, we're in agent mode, and I just showed you something, a little hidden secret, which is a chat mode. I have a custom chat mode, which is a Playwright tester. And the reason for that is sometimes when you're, if we go back to agent mode, when you start installing all these MCP servers, you might run out of the tools, right? Because you have like all this selected, and you might have the GitHub one selected. And I've got, look at all this. Oh my God, I have too many tools, right? So when you have too many tools, it's sometimes nice to have a custom chat mode. And the custom chat mode, I've called them the Playwright tester. So anytime I want to do Playwright stuff, it basically has installed the Playwright MCP server and a couple of built-in ones and nothing more, because I don't need anything else. And then if I want to do some GitHub stuff, I just come along here and switch back to agent, and then it's got like the GitHub one, right? In case you wanted to do what I'm doing, you can come along here, and I've called it playwright-tester.chat mode. And in here, and this is in a .github folder. And then let me show you what this does. I'll close this here. And I basically have a description, the tools. I'm giving it the tools, so all the Playwright tools, obviously. And then I've given it some core responsibilities, some website exploration, test improvements, test generation, test execution and refinement, and documentation. So anytime I give my prompt and say, I want you to go and do this, then I can use this, and I don't have to worry about having all those tools or thinking about which tools that I need to give it access to. So that's pretty cool. What do you think, Simon?
This is really good. What I really like is that you can explicitly mention the tools that you want, because it also allows you to not to have the agent not go down the wrong route, right? Sometimes it will use tools that you don't want it to use, because you know if it uses these tools, it takes the wrong track. And this is better. This allows you to sort of limit it to the path that works well.
Yeah. And I've got some Playwright instructions in here as well. So I've given it some basically guidelines of how I want my code to be written. I want it to use get by role, get by label, get by text, some assertions. I don't want it to add on timeouts. Sometimes, you know, those agents just add in timeouts because when they think it's going to fix a problem, because they don't know that Playwright is so good and doesn't need timeouts. So I actually have a lot of instructions in here, and that really helps it to kind of make better judgment. And then I've got my prompt. For example, I've got a generate test prompt. You've seen me give this kind of demo before. I've got an add video prompt. When I add a video to my site, now I just run this prompt. I just literally press play. I released a video this morning. I could just put in, press play to this and put in the URL, and it will go ahead and create that video for me. So it's really kind of like making my life so much easier by just using prompts and using the MCP server to just go ahead, go to YouTube, get all the details, pull it down. And like I said, don't invent the content, you know, go to YouTube and get that content. So there's a lot of stuff, and I'm experimenting with so much more, but I highly recommend you check out some of the chat modes, instructions, and prompts. And you're probably saying, where can I get this from, right? Am I right, Simon? Did you ask that question?
Yeah, people in the chat are asking that. Where can we get them?
GitHub.com. I think it's called GitHub. Awesome. I might get this wrong. Awesome Copilot. I think it's called this. Let me see if I find it. So there you go. GitHub Awesome Copilot. And under here, there is chat modes, instructions, and prompts. The Playwright ones is actually in a pull request because I just did it this morning. So you can take it from the PR. It hasn't been merged yet. This is hot off the press. This is why we're showing you hot off the press stuff. But this is in the PR. It will be merged later today when America wakes up. But for now, you can just look at it from the PR or go to the code and check out all the other chat modes. There's kind of really cool chat modes in here, like the Beast chat mode, if you want to check that out, or accessibility if you're into that. And there is the Playwright instructions has been merged because I did that last week. So if you want to come along here, you should be able to find it. Playwright TypeScript instructions, and you can literally copy that, paste it, put it into your repo. Something else that's really cool is when I open Copilot Chat, I've got this gear icon. And if I click this, I can ask it to generate instructions. And what that does is it generates instructions for my file. These are the ones that it auto-generated. And this is really cool because it reads your project and it kind of says, oh, this is an Ux3 project. And this is what I need to do, install dependencies, run the dev server. And then look, follow Playwright test guidelines in GitHub instructions, playwright.instructions.md. So it even references itself. All you got to do to get this file is literally click on Copilot and click on generate instructions, and it will go ahead. And if I update the project, it will read through it and add any new things, because Nux 4 is out today. So once I update to Nux 4, it will have to be regenerated, and it will go through and just do all that for me. So that's really, really cool.
I think it's really cool. It's a little bit like a README file, or like a contributing.md, but geared towards the agent, with all the stuff that humans wouldn't need, but the stuff that agents need, and without the stuff that agents don't need.
Exactly. And it reads through everything that it needs to, so it doesn't have to constantly do that all the time. It's now got its reference. It's like an index book kind of for, for the agent. So yeah, that's what I've got to show you today. So do check them out. Awesome Copilot. I'll put that in the YouTube chat as well, just in case you didn't see that. And MCP servers for agent mode, how to easily install them. So I definitely recommend you install those.
With those custom chat mode and those prompt files, do I just copy them, or can I also change them, like adapt them to what my needs are?
Yeah, so you can basically click on here and add a new prompt, right? So that's how you can do it, or you can just copy paste and like go into the GitHub folder. Like you should have a GitHub folder already, most likely, and just new file, new folder, whatever. And just copy and paste it, but yes, adapt it to yourself. So for example, I have this instructions. Let me close this off, make this easier to see. I have this instructions, but you maybe don't like using, I don't know, maybe you want time. I don't know. What would you want? What would you want that I don't? Maybe you don't like test steps. I have test steps in here. I like test steps. Maybe you don't. So you could just come along here and say like, I don't want a test step. There we go. There's a test step in the example. You could just remove that and say, no, I don't want test steps, right? That's totally fine, right? So you can modify it to how you want. This is an example. I think that's very important. All these guidelines, they're templates. They're examples. They are not this is going to save your life and make it generate all the most amazing tests in the world. That's not the case. This is going to help you get started, but you need to modify it to your workflow. And you can see my blog. Adding a new blog is super like, this is meant for my website. This works for my website. If I give this to you and you copy and paste and use it, it might not work on yours because your website is not created the same as mine. So everything needs a little bit of tweaking, but it will give you an idea of, actually, that's a good idea. I can do that for mine and just tweak that and, make it easier.
Yeah. And also of the kind of format that LLMs like, right? Like they're very fine with these bullet points and they don't need very formal wording. You can just give them whatever you want.
Yes. So people are asking, where can we find those instructions? So github.com, it's Awesome Copilot. So just search for Awesome Copilot.
Yeah.
And I'll share it later in the footnotes of this video, so you can come back and check on that later. But definitely, check those out. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. It's going to be so many in there by the time we've finished adding all these, but we'll maybe have to create a UI or something so we can easily find them all, but it's very cool.
And someone in chat is asking what version of VS Code makes the MCP server menu available. That is probably a feature of VS Code Insiders, right? So
no, it's actually in VS Code as well. I tested it out.
Okay.
I'm using Insiders, but it is in VS Code. So this extensions, just update it to the latest. It is in both. It is both available. And actually, while we're here, just because we're on the VS Code stuff, I thought this is quite interesting. It's nothing to do with Playwright. But you can click here and you can see your premium requests in case you're like using too many requests. You wanted to know how much did that request cost me as you do things. That's quite a nice way to look at things. And you can also turn off next edit suggestions if you want. So you can turn off things, snooze things. So it's kind of a nice little
button is cool. Sometimes I don't want a Copilot, for example, when I sometimes use VS Code to write down like design documents and the kinds of documents where I want to think myself, because that's the purpose of writing the document.
Yeah.
And then I sometimes just disable Copilot for Markdown files, but snoozing, that would help me. That's really good.
Yes. Just 5 minutes snooze, quietly give you a quick demo, for example, because you want to show that you can actually code and that you're not using all these tools all the time. So yeah, that's just there. Just click on that little icon there and it comes up. I thought that was pretty good as well, because a lot of people ask me, how much did that cost? How many tokens? How many requests? And I'm like, I don't know. Now I know. Now I can check on that. So that's pretty cool. That's cool. Yes, this is available. This is all. Just make sure you press your update to the latest version here, and then you've got your extensions here. So yeah, it's very cool. Okay, I think I'll paste the GitHub link in LinkedIn as soon as I can. I don't have access right now to paste to LinkedIn, unfortunately. But we'll post that link and we'll post it up later as well. But yeah, it's super easy. Okay, let me stop sharing. And let me go back and see all the beautiful people and all the beautiful chat. Is this suitable for Python? So you could just modify. That's exactly it, right? You could take my instructions and modify it to Python because I've given it TypeScript instructions. You go and tell it what you expect from Python, okay? So you can totally do that. And of course, I'm showing you VS Code stuff, but the Playwright MCP is not only for VS Code. I just am a VS Code lover, of course, but you can totally use it in any other place that supports MCP service, be it Cloud Desktop, be it Cursor, be it Windsurf, be it whatever AI tool they're using. Like go for it. So don't worry.
That's the nice thing about MCP in the end, right? It's not linked to one specific ID. It's like a plug and play thing. You can connect it to whatever you want.
Exactly. And can you use it to write tests with a robot framework or just Playwright tests? Well, that's a great question. Can you use the Playwright MCP server to write tests in other frameworks? Probably. I don't know. I mean, you can get it to navigate and do that, and then it can like save into memory something, and you can ask it to spit something else out. Possibly. I've never tried it, but definitely give it a go. Why not?
I think I'm not super certain, but Robot Framework is also about automating like Windows desktops, right? It's not just about the browser.
Okay.
And Playwright MCP is constrained to the browser. It is about browsers, just like Playwright is about browsers. So you won't be able to use Playwright MCP to automate your Windows desktop, your macOS desktop. So that's a limitation.
Yes, people are asking about MCP server. MCP server is a protocol from Anthropic, and it's basically about 8 months old now, so it's still pretty new. And is it like something cool and that you should all be testing out? Definitely. Is it going to like be the way to program in the future? Who knows? We can't answer that question. The future just changes every 2 months. But it's definitely something that makes your life easier. If you're in your editor of choice in VS Code, for example, and you want to just get the agent to create a pull request just by using the GitHub MCP server, for example, now you don't have to navigate to the URL, go and fill out the file, fill out the issue, fill out the pull request, do all that. So there's a lot of kind of cool things you can do, and it stays in your space. And then the Playwright MCP server actually just opens up a lot of windows, I think, because I used it to fill out a form. I used it to buy a table. I use it for generating tests. I use it for giving me ideas of what should I test on this website. Maybe you like writing the test, but maybe you don't have an idea of what the website does. So get it to go and explore things for you and come back with some ideas. So a lot of things you can use for testing or not for testing. It's browser automation. So it's very, very cool. I think you should totally check it out.
I think it's the kind of thing where you need to try it out and experiment with it and see where it works and where it doesn't to fully like understand what it's about. It is really hard, at least for me, it's really hard to explain what the limitations are and what it can do and what it can't. Also because a lot of like this stuff is always changing and it's very very changing at the moment. But it really makes sense to try it out, see where it works, see where it doesn't. And I will give you a demo of how I can use it to write tests. And for writing tests, for example, it takes a bit of experimentation to figure out how to actually get it to write good tests. But once you have that, it does really good tests. But it's not the kind of thing that you can just start using and it works right out of the box. It's sort of a new skill to learn.
Okay, so are you ready to show us a demo, Simon?
Yes, I am. All right, let me move this green screen here to the other thing and then share my screen. Entire screen.
And I'll answer this question while you're doing that. Do we need to browse this guidelines every time we send a prompt, or VS Code will automatically look for existing instructions? So that's kind of two questions in there. Instructions get auto-added to the chat. You never have to add an instruction. It automatically looks for instructions for you. A prompt, on the other hand, is something that you have to actually tell it to go and do, because you don't want it to be constantly doing prompts, but you do want it to constantly have instructions. So that's interesting. But instructions you can apply to specific files. So if you had instructions for tests, maybe you only want to apply it to these specific files. If you had instructions for Markdown or for, I don't know, the front end code or the back end code, you could apply it to specific files. So it's not always run depending on the prompt you're running. A prompt you will have to put into your own repo to use. So you would copy it from this guidelines, put it in there, and then basically modify it and then use it whenever you want. So the prompt, you just go ahead and run that prompt at any specific time you want, but instructions are always auto-added. Once they're written correctly with .instructions.md, so make sure you do that. And this, Simon, you probably do a lot of CLI stuff. Can you kick Playwright MCP flows through CLI? Have you played with that?
Yeah, you can, but you need, so Playwright MCP is always commanded by an MCP client, which is, for example, your Copilot agent, or for example, your Claude Code, right? So if you're using Claude Code in your CLI, you can use Playwright MCP from there. So that works. But you need this agent loop in the middle of that. So you need like your Claude Code or your OpenAI codecs, or what else is there?
Gemini.
Right, yeah. There might be one from VS Code, at least when you look at the commit messages of VS Code online. So like there's a lot of these terminal-based agents, and you can use them to kick off Playwright MCP flows, yeah. But if you just want to use Playwright from the terminal, then probably just using proper, like normal Playwright without MCP is also a good fit. Really depends on what you're trying to do.
Cool. I see your screen. I'm going to add it. Let's do it.
All right. Yeah. So I have a demo of Playwright browsers and VS Code and how all of that integrates. I've started using this new application for testing. It's called Solid Time. I just want to give a quick shout out. Solid Time is like an open source time tracker, like a free open source license. And they have a really, really good Playwright test suite. So that's the reason that I'm using this project as a way of testing how Playwright MCP works in the development flow. And let me just pull up one of the tests. Let's use the projects test file. So there's a couple of tests in this file, and let's just run this one. And this is the normal VS Code experience that you probably know, right? So I put it to the side here. You run a test, it opens up a browser, and then it runs the test in that browser. And when I click run on the test again, it just reuses that browser. This is this application, this Solid Time application, by the way. And now in my Copilot here, I have Playwright MCP configured. It's all there. And in the past, if I had asked Copilot about anything like Playwright related, it would have complied. But it would have opened a separate browser, and Copilot does not have access to this browser. But now with the stuff we're working on, that works. So when I ask it what's on my browser screen, let me just zoom in a little, right? So you all can see this better. When I ask it what's on my browser screen, show me the snapshot. I can ask it that, and then it will say, I'll take a snapshot of your browser screen. It will get the snapshot, and then it understands, based on the browser snapshot, I can see you currently in the project's time with the Solid Time application. And that's what we really are, right? So Copilot now has access to this thing. And what can you do with this, right? That's the interesting bit. So I could just very, I don't know, stupidly tell it to go to the client's page. I could make this click myself. It would probably be faster to make this click myself. But now Playwright MCP did the click for me, and that worked. There's no real benefit in here from this, but what I can now do is I can say go back to projects. Back to project, so we'll go back. And in this file here, there's a couple of comments with tests that we would really like to write. And what I can do now is I can say, I will just add this to Copilot. Where's the button? AI actions, add selection to chat.
I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, I think it was called Copilot before, but it's called AI actions.
Yeah, I do. I highlight it, and then I do hash selection, and that works as well.
Ah, yeah, that also makes that's what I think. If I highlight it, I would move the highlight without noticing, and then it would go away. So I really like doing this.
This is good.
And what I say is, I will say, help me write this test. First, execute it in the browser. Then, after executing it, please suggest some code and execute it to make sure it works. And the important bit here is that you tell it to first execute it in the browser. And now what we'll do is we'll click around the page. You can see that on the right. And it will just explore the page to see how things work. It will type some text. I think let's move this just a little bit over because we can't really see what's going on.
Nice.
Yeah. Huh. How do I make this bigger? I don't think
there is a little button to make the chat wider.
Where?
You can open it in a new window as well.
Yeah, maybe I'll open it in the editor. How about that?
There you go.
Did it just abort what it was doing?
Sometimes when you click on that button, you're opening it. It's not like continuing. It's like setting up a new one. So there is another button that expands it, but I think you're too small to be able to see it.
So let's just try again.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just sent it the very same request. Help me write this test.
It's always hard when you're trying to show two screens because you really need so much space on both of them.
I can see the test I manually executed earlier still showing the table. Let me click on the create project, create a new test. And then, so it clicks around the page. And the important bit here is that it now explores the page. And in all these tool calls it learns about the structure of the page. It learns what are the actual button names, what are the actual names of the fields that I need to type into. And all of that data is really important for it to not hallucinate, right? If you didn't tell it to execute the test first, it would just write something and hope that it is right, but it doesn't really know what the page looks like. And with a bit of luck, you already have tests in your code base that look similar and it can adapt from them. But that will never be as good. Okay, so what does it do now? It has written a file, and now it used the run playwright test tool. This is also like an experiment for running single tests. So
this is a new tool.
This is a new tool, yeah. So there's one called get playwright test tree that gets a list of tests.
Is this released?
Say again?
Is this released? Is this out?
No, not yet released. Also experiment.
Just on your computer, okay.
Just on my computer, yeah. And then runs the test. Says, oh no, test failed. And now it's found the issue. It updates the test. It runs it again. The test is now passing. Let me run one more time to make sure it's consistently working.
I like that.
Working consistently.
So what's the difference between this tool, Run Playwright Test, and just VS Code doing its thing in the shell to run the tests?
Right, yeah. There is no super big difference. I think at the moment, there's two different ways of running a test. The first way is to use the run tests tool that VS Code has. But that tool only allows you to run an entire file, which for unit tests makes sense. Unit tests are very cheap to execute. If you just run the entire file, that is also cheap. But Playwright tests take a little longer, and running the entire file, sometimes the file is like 25 tests, just takes a while. So this tool is for explicitly running just one test. And it is here in my experiment. I am also working together with VS Code to make sure that this actually gets into VS Code itself. But if that doesn't happen fast enough, then we might ship this tool in the meantime.
Cool.
Yeah, so it wrote a test. Let's see what it wrote. I'll just make this. Do I make it bigger? No, I'll just zoom out a little so we can see more. So it wrote a test in the very same shape that we had before. So it adopted the shape that this file already has, and it uses the same patterns. Some of these patterns I don't really like, but I like that it stays consistent. So that's really good. And it writes the test. And this actually is a fine test. We can keep it. We can keep it. This button doesn't do anything. I don't think
it might not have finished. There we go.
So why do I like this test? I like it because it uses these get by row locators and the labels. The only locator I don't really like is this one where it locates by div. This will just break once the this will just break when the site changes and the div is removed.
Probably and this is why you always need somebody to review. Like, it's great for generating tests, and AI is doing a great job at generating tests, but you always need someone to have code quality, review everything, and ensure that the code is good.
Yeah, so I think you could probably replace this with get by text. Let's just do that. Replace this with get by text instead. Let's see if it can, yeah. I think it should still work, so let's run this. Yeah, it works. Okay.
Nice.
So we have the test.
And you just pressed play there in the test, and that browser did not change, but that browser was now the VS Code show browser feature showing you the test and not the MCP. Am I right?
Yeah. So the new thing here really is that VS Code and MCP, they share a browser. They use the same browser. And from a UI perspective, that is a very small change, right? It's one browser where previously there was two browsers. But it really changes a lot in how they can interact. And yeah, so this is super useful. There's a couple more things that I'd like to show.
Go for it. We're getting a lot of love in here just while you're looking for feedback. Love it. So yeah. And someone really wants it. We need it right now.
I think there's also just a small like quality of life feature here, right? Previously, when you were running the tests, Playwright browsers would pop up. They would be somewhere on your screen. You would have to look around your machine to find where it is.
Especially when sharing a screen. Especially when sharing a screen in a demo.
Sharing a screen, right? Now you can know it's always in that one browser. You can place it wherever. It will just be there. Also, because now VS Code and MCP share the browser, you can just use the pick locator feature, even if the browser was opened by MCP or was opened by anything else, right? So you can pick a locator here that will just work. Same for recorded cursor. You can, I don't know, click around, record something. That will work. And yeah, so that is just a couple new ways.
Just do that again. That was too fast, Simon. That was really cool. Okay. Do that again.
So there's the recorded cursor tool. Let me just disable so you can see. Again, let's cancel it. So there's the pick locator tool that you can use to get a locator for an element on screen. But there's also a tool, let me disable the pick locator again, a tool called recorded cursor. And what it does is you move your cursor somewhere in the file where you want new code to be inserted, and you click recorded cursor, and we start the Playwright code jam. And then you can click around your browser, and whatever you do will be recorded into your editor. So you can click on projects maybe, and then on archive, then we can create our first project. I know, click create project, probably doesn't work. Yeah. And at the end of it all, we have new code in here that is exactly the steps that I did on screen. So this is a way of generating tests that does not use any AI.
Now, exactly. This is just the
specific.
usual way of using, the record code gen features. But you said this browser is opened by the MCP server. So could you now tell the MCP server to actually go and do that so you don't have to?
Yeah. So we're working on that. We would like that to work. I can't demo it because there's a bug in there at the moment.
Oh, damn, there's a bug. I don't mind bugs. I'm okay with seeing bugs.
It wouldn't just like I can show you, but it just flat out wouldn't work. So,
okay.
But,
that's what we're going towards. That would be cool. But does anyone else think that would be cool? That you could actually just like record a cursor and then use CodeGen, but use the MCP server to do the CodeGen clicks for you, so you don't have to start clicking on that. Does that make sense to people? Because I think that would be cool. Just because I don't like having to click all the time and fill out the form. I want the MCP server to do it, but I want the test to be recorded because CodeGen records really good tests. I don't know. What do you think? That would be cool. Some people say that would be cool.
Yeah.
And someone else agrees with me. They love bugs. So yes. And they're testers, so they're used to bugs.
Yeah, bugs are nice. Bugs are always fun to debug. Yeah, so I think Playwright MCP driving CodeGen is a nice feature to have. But I think like longer term, we can probably still build better things than the combo of that, but we want to make that combo work. Now, all right, there's more to demo. So I'm gonna demo
more
stuff more. Yeah.
Oh, I like this question. I like this question, Simon.
Can I add breakpoints and do a debugging? I don't know. This would be a feature of Copilot VS Code. Yeah. I'm not aware of that, and if I had to guess, I would say that.
I'm guessing yes, because if you go manually and press the debug and then just go say run now, it's now in debug mode because you activated it. No, because it's sharing the same browser. So much to explore.
Probably, but I don't think that Copilot would be able to handle it very well. I don't know. I haven't tried it out, and I don't think there's tools in Copilot at the moment for it to handle debugging. But if I had to guess, I would say that there's not a lot of training data for how debugging actually works, right? There is a lot of training data on how code looks and how to generate code.
Yeah.
But debuggers are these tools. Like, not a lot of humans understand how to use a debugger well, right? And there's very, very little material on the internet that you can train on about how to run a debugger. Yeah. And if I had to guess, I would say that LLMs are not very good at driving a debugger, but I would love to be proven otherwise.
Something to explore for sure, but so cool. So yeah, show us the next demo. I'm intrigued because I haven't seen the next demo.
Two things actually. So I'll just scroll up here a little. This demo is based on the really weird terminal commands. Please just ignore these random environment variables. They're here to make this demo work. This is as you can see, this is all not very polished and very experimental. But essentially, what we'll see is when I run this from the terminal, it also reuses the browser, right? So that's the one thing. Not just VS Code and MCP share browser. The terminal can also use this browser. And this is one of the things where we're less sure if we actually want to ship it, because it might be unexpected to some people that the terminal has access to stuff started by VS Code. Something we're experimenting with. So that's thing number one. When I run the test, it reused the same browser.
Stop,
Do you see
Simon.
what's happened?
Yeah, did you see what happened, everyone? Like VS
Mhm.
Code was running through the test at the same time as the terminal was running through the test. Do you want to run that
Yeah.
again? Watch
Yeah,
everyone.
one
Watch
again. So look
yeah.
at the green thing, and then look at just the code, and I will run it in 3, 2, 1, go.
Right. That I think that is cool. This is the question. Do you think that this makes sense in the sense of like, is it too much having the terminal do the same as the VS Code, or like they're always separate before when you run the test in the terminal, the VS Code, if it had failed, it would still show the X, and then you'd have to go and press that again to make it green. So because sometimes I use both. I don't know if that's just me. But what do you think, people? Should this work this way? Or should it be, no, if you run a terminal, you're running terminal only, and what happens if VS Code stays in VS Code? I'd love to know what people think.
Yeah. And this would be constrained to the VS Code terminal only, right? So if you do it in your, in your terminal application, that wouldn't work. Yes, code execution flow along with UI flow execution.
We'll wait for some of the answers to come in. Some people are asking about how to set those dynamic variable set, but this is just for you at the moment. It's not public. On this, I like this. Makes sense. Joined up execution, like it. So that's good. Thank you, Mark. Yes. Michael says that was cool demo. Would love to see this as the final product. And sorry, the chat's jumping, so I'm trying to get you all in.
Yeah.
I want them to be connected. Copilot does not see the results of the tests running from the extensions. Love it.
Yeah, so this is also one of the reasons why I think this is really cool, right?
Simon, this is for you.
Yeah, maybe have a toggle in the setting. That's what we were thinking as well. Some people wouldn't like it. Feels
yeah,
too much
you see,
like
that's great feedback. Thank you.
Yeah.
And someone not at two places, just one is fine. I think, give it to everybody and let them toggle that on and off, and you use it. Maybe sometimes you don't, maybe sometimes you do. So that looks good. This is nice. Can we slow down the test runner for easy debugging? Playwright is too fast. You can do test.slow, can't you? Maybe.
No, test.slow is for prolonging the timeout. But you can either like Playwright debug mode where we insert like timeouts. But I am not sure how slowing down a test run helps with debugging. If you want to debug something, maybe
you can just do debug, just set breakpoints and slow it down. Right. Someone said slow-mo. That's the one I was thinking of.
Slow-mo.
Yeah, not test.slow, but slow-mo, and that will slow it down. But you want Playwright to run fast. You don't want it to be slow. But I get what you mean. I would agree. It would be good to have optional executions, and user preferences would be a good idea. We have to respect the user.
That makes sense.
That's good. I love it.
Do you think, so you're all saying that you want an option. Do you think this option should live down here in this Playwright menu, like along these settings? Or should it live in the settings
code
file?
Settings?
Yeah, so should
is
it be like
it part of VS Code or is it part of Playwright? I will personally say I'm a UI person, and I like clicking a tab button rather than going into a settings.json file, because I very rarely like go in there. Whereas I want to sometimes like, I want to show browser, because I switch between showing browser and showing like the trace viewer when in VS Code. So it makes sense for me to kind of like come along there and just click. But I don't know. What do you all think? Someone says VS Code settings. You disagreed with me. Damn.
I think it really depends on if you expect how many people you expect to want to turn it off, right? So if you want it to be easily discoverable, then it should be in the Playwright sidebar.
Oh, here's Michael's with me.
Yeah, Michael says on the left side panel, please. Yeah. We already have so many settings. I mean, you could say we have too many, we need to cut down, or you could say we can afford one more.
We have a pretty 50-50 here, just like looking at it. So.
Okay, you folks are not making the decision easier.
It's literally 50-50. Like, it's like, come on.
Yeah,
I think we're going towards UI. Can it not be just in both? Maybe it just like populates automatically and then it's in two places. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a couple of different default value should be false. Yeah, of course, to not kind of make people think that there's something wrong. I do like that. Yeah, that's very good feedback, Drumil.
It depends on if it's enabled by default.
Exactly.
If it's not enabled by default, where should the opt-out button be?
Yeah, too many checkboxes is confusing. Thank you, Carlos. Yeah, this is great feedback. This is exactly what we need. A setting in the config if you want it in the UI. Oh, so put a setting in the config for it to pop up in the UI. I love it.
I don't think we'll do that, but that's fun.
I mean, you want feedback, you get feedback.
Yeah.
But this is cool. Thank you. This is great, everybody. I love it. But I think this is cool. I like it. I think it would be good to be able to have it do two things. And I think it's when you start using it, then you're all going to want it. So those that are like, I want a setting, I end up going to use it, and then you're going to keep the setting on all the time, I think, but I could be wrong. But yeah.
I see we have 5 minutes left. Do we want to do some more QA?
Yeah, definitely do some Q&A. If you've seen one, Simon, that you want to pick up on, I've seen a couple of questions that I'm not going to be able to find all the questions that are backdated because there's a lot and we won't have time to answer them all. So big, long questions, people don't do the big, long questions because I can't read them. But I know some people asked about POM. Have we tried this out with generating tests with POM? I personally haven't, but a lot of people have.
Sorry,
so
you
testing.
go.
Yeah, a lot of people have tested out with POM and it has done a great job. Just, give it some nice instructions and prompts and I think it will do great. So I don't think if you have POM, I don't think that's a problem. So go ahead and do that. Go ahead, Simon, what did you see?
Yeah, there's one I find important enough that I actually wrote it down because I wanted to respond to
Old school.
Very much at the beginning. I don't think I can find it anymore. Somebody was asking about Playwright MCP not being able to see certain elements when used with this one.
Shadow DOM?
Not Shadow DOM. No.
I've seen a Shadow DOM question.
Oh, really? Okay. So they were asking about a specific Angular grade library. And I just want to highlight that there was a bug in our snapshotting logic, the logic that we use to turn the website into this sort of YAML tree that the LLM sees. And that was that led to some big parts of the sites being just invisible because of like some CSS stuff. I think if an element with visibility visible was nested inside one with visibility hidden, then the browser would show it, but we wouldn't. And we learned about a new part of the ARIA specification through that. And actually, we released a fix to that, I think, like 4 hours ago. So if you had some problems with MCP not being able to see some parts of your site, upgrade to 0030. I think is the version, 0030, and try again. Because this bug, apparently impacted these Angular grid sites, but it also impacted a lot of the Microsoft websites. It impacted Gmail. So it's like a weird subtlety that is used across a lot of the web. And so if you had some problems, try again. That should hopefully fix.
Cool.
And anytime you have the feeling that Playwright MCP doesn't see elements that it should be seeing, please raise a bug with us, because this is the kind of thing where we just need the bug reports to be able to fix it, and otherwise we have no way of learning about it.
Cool. Oh, damn. There's a really good question there, and I don't know if we have time, but I'm going to really try. Simon, you take the next question there, and I'm going to try and show something really cool if I have the time.
Yeah. So Somebody is asking, generate Playwright tests do not, I don't think I can pick the question, but Miguel is saying generate Playwright tests do not always open the browser, but just imagining tests and users not existing located. Yeah, we know about that flaw of the generate Playwright test tool. And it works well in some cases and it works horribly wrong in others. If it doesn't work for you, just disable the tool and call it a day. We haven't really figured out what to do with that tool yet. And it really shows like Playwright MCP is an experiment, right? So we're trying things out. It's not super stable.
MCP world is the whole experiment.
Yeah,
like
MCP world,
everyone's still learning, fixing, and doing stuff. I was trying to show this, but I closed all my PRs. So I'm not going to have much time to show you this, but I do have a video on it. So let's not waste too much time. But I will tell you instead. So someone asked about CI and Playwright have anything in the backlog. We don't have anything in our backlog, but GitHub have released that their coding agent, that's not the agent in VS Code, that is the coding agent inside GitHub Copilot. When you create a PR, you can assign it to Copilot. And this is still in, I think it's preview, so maybe it's not rolled out to everyone, or it's still like you can test it out and stuff. And they just updated their pricing as well, so that one session is one request. So if you give it a PR to do, that's one request, rather than every time it does something before. Because I actually used all my limits and I got like rate limited because I was doing too much work. So this is really cool. If you're interested and want to read up a bit more, because we do not have a lot of time, my website, just go to debbie.codes and I have some videos on that and you can totally check that out. And that is using Playwright MCP under the hood. It's built into the GitHub Copilot coding agent, which means when you ask it to go and do something, it navigates to a URL to see if it actually has the right information. So you can put allow list to YouTube. It can go to YouTube, get the details, fill in the kind of, the new video you want to add to your site. And it can use the MCP server to see the page snapshot, to understand the site. Maybe it's writing tests for you. So this is really, really cool integration. It is very new, very, very new, like literally last week. So I'm sure there's a lot of things that you could point in the right direction and say, like, this is working great, this is not. Don't let us know, let the GitHub team know, because they've built this. But it would definitely be worth you trying that out if you're looking for the CI approach, because that's already built in and that's being used by the GitHub Copilot coding agent. Some people asked about where can I get started with MCP servers. Again, I have released a ton of videos over the last week and a half on my channel. That's debbie.codes. I'm not the only person out there, of course. We have some videos on our YouTube channel as well, so check them out on how to generate tests in Playwright. And there's a lot of information on the actual Anthropic website on Model Context Protocol if you wanted to learn a bit more about that. And then as Microsoft, we're running some things next week. So check that out on the Reactor sessions about actually how to create MCP servers. I'm doing one in English and in Spanish. That's on Monday and Wednesday. So do check that out as well. Follow me on LinkedIn and I'll keep posting. So there's so much to learn and there's so much to get started. So I would say, like, pick something simple. I just showed you how quick it is to install a Playwright MCP server. So go and click that, install that, and just start playing. And I think just be curious, like walk away from this session and just be curious. I'm not saying that everything we showed you today is going to change your life, but be curious and have fun and test things out. And then tell us and say, I just created this. I just did this. This is cool. This works. This doesn't work. This would be cool if this worked. I think that would be great feedback for us to let us know, because we learn from everything that you all do.
Absolutely.
Okay, Simon, do you have any closing notes?
Any closing notes? No, fun session. I think, like, I just want to mention again, like, everything we've showed you, or at least the part I've showed, is experimental. Like, you won't be able to just use that today, but we're working on shipping part of that. And there's lots of other stuff going on with Playwright. Like, the team is doing a lot of great work. And yeah, you'll catch up with the release notes and have a great day, I think.
Yeah, and I think some people are asking about API in the MCP server. I've seen that question come up a few times. We already have a vision mode, so you can go ahead and do that. But API, we haven't, and I'm not sure if we are going to implement that. I don't think that's something, but you could totally ask that question on the GitHub MCP. This exactly. What is the best way to pass on the feedback, Debbie? What do you think, Simon? What's the best way to pass feedback?
GitHub issues is a great way of passing feedback if you can formulate the feedback as a feature request or a bug report. And do us a favor and check if there's already an issue about the same feature request or bug report, because it just makes our lives easier when handling these reports. If you have feedback, just you want to share what works for you and what doesn't, I think a good place of doing that is the MCP channel in the community Discord. There's a Playwright community Discord that has like a hashtag MCP channel. So that's a good place to share what works for you, share what doesn't, and exchange with others in the community. I'm also around that channel sometimes, and I'm just reading what works for me, what doesn't, to get some inspiration and to see what catches on and what doesn't.
Yes, and the Playwright LinkedIn, totally, like, just if you're using LinkedIn, go into there and just type Playwright. And I also read through all those, so you can say like, hey, we're doing this. So definitely do share in public so everyone else can also learn from what you're doing, because that would be cool as well. Another thing, quick, people did ask about Python and said like, are all these things about Python? And I know we do a lot more things and a lot more love for the TypeScript rather than Python. It's literally just because we are such a small team. And I really, if people knew how small our team was, then they'd understand that we just cannot do everything that we want to do. And that is simply the reason. So, you know, one day we might have a lot more people, but we're just a small open source team. Basically, that's really the way it works. But we'll try our best to do everything that we can.
I think we've done a good job so far focusing on the parts that are really impactful. So I think we're doing good, even with the small team we have.
Exactly. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this is fun. And again, if you're watching on YouTube, put the comments in there if you'd like more of these sessions, and we'll totally, do more of these and show you more cool stuff. And hopefully Simon will release these cool features, because I want to test them out, but they are not they're not released so far. Do make sure you update the Playwright latest version. We did a release very recently, so there's a couple of new things in there, so do check that out and install the MCP server. That's all for me. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of the day, and see you the next one. See you, Simon.
Bye. Enjoy your days.